All right, there you have it. More fake, phony, fraudulent news because, well, the 2005 return, Donald Trump hasn't paid taxes in 20 years. Well, yeah, he's paying a pretty big share, a hefty share, paying more by far. The Obamas paid what, from 2000 to 2015, $6.1 million. In 1 year, 2005, Donald Trump paid $38 million. And by the way, paid a higher rate than the Obamas, a higher rate than NBC Comcast, a higher rate than Bernie Sanders. He didn't deduct his underwear, used underwear, like the Clintons. It just, I don't know what else to say when this is the media being dead. It just is unbelievable. Anyway, we welcome back to the program somebody who's actually become a really good friend of mine that I really like and really admire. She's the only person that goes by one name for me anyway. Omarosa is back with us, the assistant to the president, director of communications for the Office of Public Liaison. You know what's amazing? So I play this montage, and all the media is saying for 20 years, Donald Trump never paid a penny in taxes. So they have this big reveal, and in 1 year alone, he paid more than Obama's paid his entire life. The last 15 years, the Obamas paid $6.1 million. He pays $38 million in a year. He pays a higher rate than the Obamas, a higher rate than Bernie Sanders, a higher rate than NBC Comcast, which made the big reveal and made a big deal out of nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is never going to end, is it? They are just at war with them, period.
Well, they better prepare themselves because we're putting in 8 years to help make America great again. We're not just defaulting to 4. The president is going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. I look at these reporters and I watch what Rachel Maddow did, and she should be ashamed of herself. In fact,
they're not. But by the way, didn't you laugh? Come on. My reaction was, I don't think I laughed that was a belly laugh for me. It was like deep. I needed that laugh.
Well, the buildup was so great. I mean, I thought she was going to reveal something so dramatic and so terrible. And when she revealed the 2 pages, I thought, this woman has lost her mind. I couldn't believe it. And then I think she actually showed his Social Security number right on camera. I didn't see. Yeah, she did not black out his social when she held up the 2 pages.
I have known the president for many, many years, and he is a man of action. That's how I would describe him, a man of endless energy, extraordinarily courageous, and a man of action. Unfortunately for him, I am really disappointed in Congress and the way they rolled out this health care bill. And here's my logic, Omarosa, and I want to get your take on it. So they had 8 years of telling the American people they're going to repeal it, they're going to replace it. Repeal it, replace it. All right. They got the House in 2010. They got the Senate in 2014. They said, give us the White House and we'll be able to get all this done. They get the White House. President Trump wins, by the way, in spite of some of them on the Republican side that were no help. I have a much longer memory than he does. And so now he's elected, and you would think like on November 9th, they would have started getting ready, building the bill, building consensus. And so they drop a bill that has so much opposition within their own ranks that now the president has to go do their job and build the consensus they should have built for 8 years. That's frustrating to me.
Well, I have to say to you that, yes, the rollout has been a little complex and complicated, but I believe that truly more people will not just have coverage as they had with Obamacare, but they'll have the care that they need. They will actually be able to see the doctors that they need to, and they'll be able to help to heal their bodies, their minds, their soul. That's what this is designed to do. Now, we could have done better with the rollout and explaining the different steps to how we had to repeal and replace, but I don't want you to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's still help in this bill. There's still an opportunity for us to do exactly what he said he was going to do. So I just think if people could just be patient, this president is committed to making sure that everybody doesn't just have health coverage, but they have health care, that they get the care that they need, Sean.
Listen, I agree with all of that. And, I've been putting different ideas on the table, and I'm trying to offer positive solutions. One of them is certainly what the president ran on healthcare savings accounts. There's this guy in Wichita, and his name is Dr. Josh Umber. And he has this practice. It's called Atlas MD. If you're an adult and you're part of his cooperative, you pay $50 a month for unlimited care. You get $10 a month for any child. Part of unlimited care means you pay like 50 cents for an x-ray. He negotiates directly with pharmaceutical companies, so you get the pharmaceuticals dispensed from your doctor at a 90 to 95% discount. You get, stitches, broken legs, everything but, say, a heart attack cancer, although he'll get you the cancer chemo drugs at a 95% discount, but now you can get a very inexpensive catastrophic plan, and you've got yourself full, complete health care, 24-hour availability to your doctor, your pharmaceuticals next to nothing, and he has now duplicated this about 1,000 times around the country. And I know that cooperatives were in the Freedom Caucus and the Rand Paul bill, and I don't know if it's in this new bill, or that's like a Donald Trump idea, because he always thinks outside the box.
It does sound very much like Donald Trump, because the president wants to do things that tend to be unorthodox and never done before. But I also think when you describe what this gentleman has done in terms of allowing people to pay the $50 a month and get the care they need, I think that that same spirit is behind what the president is doing. I mean, when people's premiums were going up double, triple, I mean, we had some folks in telling their stories about how they were affected by Obamacare, and it just devastated me. And so just know, and I know that your listeners that are at home trying to figure out, well, what's going to happen to me? Just know that we are working so hard every single day, and the president is working every single day to make sure
I've actually been checking in with these different, like, for example, Congressman Mark Meadows of the Freedom Caucus, who's been against the House bill. I mean, I asked, well, how has negotiations been? And he said, well, I haven't heard from the House leadership, but I give the president an A++ because he's negotiating with us on a regular basis.
He is.
Yeah, I'm like,
he is working the phones. He's calling folks. We've invited folks over to come and do everything from polling to sit down to listening sessions to meeting. He's putting in the time. He's committed to making sure folks are all on board. He had 12 members here earlier today, and he was talking to them. They all came in the door with a no, and I believe that they all left supporting it. So he is actually the master negotiator, and he's
talking about the conservative study group. I think met with him earlier today, right?
Right. They came in, and I'm telling you, they came in opposed to the president. When they left, they were all on board, and that's the type of gift that he has in terms of connecting with people and allowing them to see his vision.
Yeah. Let me ask you about what's happening in Flint. I know this is something that you've been paying very close attention to. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, what's happened in Flint, a couple of years back, they decided to switch their water source. And as a result, so many of the residents, in fact, 100% of the residents were exposed to very high levels of lead and all types of contaminants in their water. In fact, many of the residents have been living on bottled water for the last couple of years. And so because of a subsidy, they didn't have to pay their water bills. And just last week, the subsidy ran out. They required that these residents now start paying their water bills, even though when they cut on their faucet, Sean, some of the water still was coming out smelling funny. Some of it was still coming out brown. There are children that still show high levels of lead in their bodies. And, the president was really concerned about this. He went to Michigan, and he says, while I'm here in Detroit, I want to talk to this mayor, and I want to see how we can help. What can we do? So he invited the mayor of Flint down to Detroit. And even in the middle of this insane event, he took a couple of minutes out. He says, I want you to come to the White House. I want you to sit down. I want us to figure it out. In the meantime, I went to work with a team here at the White House to figure out what resources do we have to help these folks, to make sure that they have clean water, they can cut on their water and not have to filter or boil the water. And we found the resources. The EPA is announcing, I believe it's $100 million that they discovered was available through some grants and some allotments, and they're going to be able to get the help that they need. But he made sure he put a team in place to find every available resource so that the little children of Flint would not have to be exposed to lead, these high levels of lead, 3-4 times higher than the average water sources in this country.
It's so disgusting that this has gone on for so long. I remember the line the president used while he was campaigning, and he said, it used to be that the water was clean in Michigan, and we made cars in Michigan. Now it's the other way around. Now the water's dirty in Flint, and they make cars in Mexico. And both those things he clearly is taken seriously and is trying to get done, which is awesome.
Yeah, he is very serious about that. And on the other hand, you also saw him in Detroit, also trying to build up jobs and bring back the automotive industry. And he met with the CEOs to say, what can we do there? And so every one of the campaign promises that he made, he's delivering on them one by one, whether it's Flint, whether it's jobs, whether it's car industry, whether it's police.
Wow.
You see him working to get this country back on track and to truly make America a better place.
Listen, we've got a lot of cleaning up to do. I think are really off to a great start. They're going to have to clean up this mess in the House and how they get bills together. That's my criticism of them, and it seems like the president's doing his best to clean up the mess they made, but I'm disappointed with the Republican Party on that. Anyway, Omarosa, you've been great, and getting to know you, by the way, has been amazing. I had a very different view of you before I met you. I mean, you were so tough on The Apprentice. I couldn't believe it. You were tough as nails, and you're like...
Yeah, but you know what? The president doesn't like to be around a whole lot of folks who are just yes people and weak.
We'll never say that about you. I know.
Can I just say this before we go? I don't know if listeners know that you could be a preacher because of that event we did in Cleveland in the church. And you
remember that with Pastor Scott? Yeah. I said, I'm going to bring it. Here we go. And I couldn't believe the reaction. It was fun. All right, Omarosa, God bless you. Always a pleasure. We'll stay in touch. 800